Hey guys, it's Chris Soriano. This is the new SIUF podcast for all you Staten Island United Federation Men's League coaches, players, and for everyone else. All right, you are welcome to listen to and watch this podcast wherever it is up, whether it's on YouTube for the video purposes or SoundCloud. We are here. As my audio file is getting a little slow as I see right now. But our first guest is the esteemed, the legendary, the one and only, Mr. Tommy Laino. Tommy, good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Good afternoon, Chris. How are you?
I'm doing great, but not as I tell you right now. They're not as good as you. You have a lot of great stuff going for you right now. And tell me I remember. Now I remember. I am Pepperidge Farm remembers. I am old enough to remember when you started working with gloves, and it was basically just okay, someone's glove is loose. Like the thing is coming off. Who do we go to? Okay, we go to Tommy. And since then, it has evolved not only from just fixing gloves, it has evolved into a whole big thing, and also maybe not just exclusively gloves. Give me the story. What's going on in the world of DRG?
Yeah, so like you said, right, it started out just fixing gloves for my high school kids, right? And, hey, coach, like my glove popped. Oh, yeah, let me fix that for you. Obviously it was something that I always did for myself. It was something I enjoyed doing. And then, I said, well, why not turn it into a business? And slowly but surely it has tremendously evolved to right now I'm handling about 200 glove repairs a year. Be it, just simple repairs, web relaces, or, heel breaks, or all the way up to, complete relacing, dyeing gloves and changing the colors of them. Total restorations of vintage gloves from the 20s and 30s. We're even, at this point, I'm actually starting to get the hardware and the equipment together so that I can actually start replacing the interior of the glove. You get a glove that's all torn up in the palm and you think, it's garbage. I'm trying to get together the proper tools so that I can actually start pulling that stuff out and replacing it. So you can keep that, that 40-year-old mitt that, that was dad's or grandpa's that was in the garage for the last 15 years. Now we can totally restore it and get it back to a functioning condition. So we're hoping to have that ready to go by the end of the year. It's a little bit of a process because there's a lot more to it than just pulling out and replacing, but that's the next step. And then, as you know, last year we got into the custom glove business, and that's been a hit. It's been an absolute hit from, I have kids as young as 10, and I have guys in multiple men's leagues. Guys as south as Florida have called me up looking for gloves. So, it's starting to expand. It looks good. And it's really exciting stuff. And then we're opening a store, a small store, about 400 square feet. And we're going to be getting into baseballs, baseballs for teams and leagues, bat grips, pine tar. We're going to be selling some bats out of there through from Victus and from SSK. We're teaming up with ETJ, Enjoy the Journey. They're an apparel company, and Nicole's great over there. And for those of you might know Nicole, know her dad, Neil, was the assistant at CSI for many years. So we're involving Nicole there as well. And then obviously Chris Reyes from Athlete Player Development will have his training gear and some of his stuff in there as well. So, we're trying to create DRG from just repairs into a full-fledged sporting goods outfit.
And how long again has DRG been around? How long would you say that you've been around again?
So the name DRG has been around since the middle of last year. But Drg Gloves, which was the prime company, I actually filed for the naming rights on that in 2014. But obviously, I've been doing this work for longer than that. I would tell you I've been doing it and getting paid for it probably since 2010.
And that's impressive, where it is just expanded. And it's really just grown and grown and grown into much more than gloves. And it's fascinating to see just the growth of the product that you're putting out there. What made you get into it? What made you say, you know what, I'm gonna fix gloves, or I'm gonna, because I know that was the first thing, that was initially the first thing. So what kind of, and again, you're a baseball guy, you've been around for a long time, and you've worn many hats, coach, umpire, player, and we'll discuss all of that. What made you kind of take this little behind the scenes role of equipment?
Well, so when I was catching and specifically summer ball in college, right, I was going through like 2 mitts a year, right? Popped laces, stuff breaking and tearing, and it was getting frustrating, right? And my family's not rich. My family's not rich. Dad, I need a $250 catcher's mitt. I'm catching guys throwing 92 to 95, and those mitts, they break down. I mean, they're just leather like anything else, and they break down when you catch 5, 6, 7,000 pitches a year. And I used to think a lace popped and that was it. I needed a new glove. When I actually found that you're actually able to repair it, I actually started doing my research, started doing my digging, and what I started doing was I started repairing them on my own, and fixing my gloves so that I wasn't going to my parents in high school and college going, hey, I need a new glove. It's broken. I need to get it fixed. I'd actually get the lace. I'd repair it and fix it myself. And then the other thing that I started doing was when I would get a new glove, I'd actually take all the laces out, beat them up a little bit. I used to dip them in like neat's foot oil and make them nice and soft and then put them back in. I'd put them back in the glove so that when I actually put the glove on, it was pretty much broken in. I didn't have to do much work for it. So that's kind of how it started.
Nice. Interesting. So
I won't tell you what year that is, though, because I'll be dating myself.
You got it. We're not going to go there. But it's no secret, you've been around the game for a long, long time. And obviously you are an assistant coach at St. Joseph by the Sea, where you played baseball. Tell us about your career at Sea as a player and playing for great coaches in that baseball program, to where you are now as an assistant coach with the program that is still, just one of the top in CHSAA. They have a beautiful, beautiful new field that they got recently. Tell us about what it's like being a Sea Viking.
So listen, the truth be told, and I don't know that I could ever be anywhere else. St. Joseph by the Sea is a hell of a place to be. From the faculty and staff to the coaching staff to just the other coaches within the organization and within the program, it's just unbelievable. It's a family type atmosphere. It's the kind of place you want kids to be at. Which is why my son is there now, and I hope that my other children, as they get older, will want to attend as well. Really, Father Riley has treated me like family. He's been great to me over the years. But I went into the school in 1998, excuse me. And, from the day I walked through that building, it's been my second home. Teachers or coaches, coaches you had never, played for, and, they know your first and last name and ask you how you're doing and how your season's going. Really, St. Joe's is a great place. So obviously 98 was when I went in as a freshman. And from that point, I played 2 years of JV baseball for John Lamantina, prior to him leaving and heading to St. Peter's as what I think at the time he became their third ever head coach. So I played for John. We won an Archdiocese championship with him in my freshman year. Great program. A lot of the names from that team you see still around in the in the men's circuit. Joey Bayonne, John Praviti, a lot of those guys, Brian Trimboli, a lot of those guys are still around and still playing. So, I played with those guys a lot. Played a year with them and then stayed my second year on JV. Played there for John Lamattina, Billy Doyle. Those were my coaches while I was down on JV. And then obviously I went up and really took it to the next level playing for Coach Rugg, who was really a mentor to me from a coaching standpoint. Obviously I played for him. And I mean, there's not too many guys who would tell you they wouldn't run through a concrete wall for Gordon Rugg. I mean, there's really not. Anybody who's played for him, anybody who's had the pleasure of spending some time with him knows that he was just a stand-up guy, no-nonsense type of guy. He shot you straight, and he was honest with you. And, whether you liked it or not, but the bottom line is that he was always up front with you, and you couldn't respect a man like that more. And he gave credit where it was due. If we got beat, hey, guys, we got beat by a better team today. If we lost because we beat ourselves, he'd tell you straight out. From there, and it was a great, and we had a great run. We took it right to the semifinals of the city championship during my junior year. Unfortunate loss that we lost to Farrell that year. And the following year, we had some tough breaks with injuries that didn't allow us to move on. But I mean, listen, if you just start looking through the names that have been through there, just more, over the last 20 years. But we don't even need to go back further than that. I mean, you start going back to Eddie Pavia and the Rendon brothers and those guys. I mean, obviously Kevin and Gordon Rugg. I mean, those guys were all stars no matter where they went. But more recently, in the last 20 years, I mean, you've got three guys who play professional baseball. In Mike McKenna, Ricky DeVito, and Matt Festa. Obviously Matt's up. He's rehabbing Tommy John right now, but obviously he was up with the Mariners for some time last year. Ricky DeVito is a highly touted prospect with the Braves and their organization, and Mike McKenna, if he didn't sustain the injury to his shoulder, probably would have been in their top 40 prospects. I mean, kid set every record there imaginable at FAU. So, once I left and I came back to coach, it was almost like you never left. Coach Rugg treated you, the same. He treated you the same, and he gave you the same level of respect that he did as a player and as a coach. He loved you. He loved you and treated you, just like you were part of the C family. He never brushed you off. He never told guys to get away or, hey, we can't have you around here. Always welcome back the alumni in the dugout, cheering the team on. Love to have them around. He was a tremendous mentor to me in the coaching game. He really groomed me for a head coaching job. It was really, what he allowed me to do and the way he, taught me to coach and the things that he taught me were really, I mean, and listen, I've had tons of coaches in my life. I've had my father's been coach, obviously guys from East Shore Little League when I was there. I played for the Padres. I played at Bergen Beach. I've played hundreds. I've probably had hundreds of coaches. But Gordon Rugg really was the one who would make you feel like family, like you never left. And that's a legacy that we're carrying on at St. Joe's since his passing. You're there and you're there to carry on Coach Rugg's program. He really was the guy who took us from, a mid-range program to that next level. Obviously, our first championship.
There we go.
Got my plaque still sitting up there. So I mean, St. Joe's is a special place.
Good stuff. Now, you have been around. C obviously has been a big part of your life, but you've also been involved in many leagues. As you said, you played East Shore Little League, which was I was fortunate enough to be in that league the last couple of years. You actually got me in there, by the way, which I appreciate. I was there for 3 or 4 years doing the majors. What did East Shore Little League mean to you?
So listen, East Shore Little League was a huge part of my life. I started playing there when I was like 4 years old. Played there through Little League, and even played a couple years in the senior league when they still had the field down on Father Capodanno. East Shore was a big deal. Made a lot of lifelong friends there. A lot of lifelong friends that were made down there, and still talk to a lot of those people and still in touch. And it's important. I think that sense of community that brought us together. We used to go down there, 10, 11, 12 years old, and we would all hang out there. Whether we had a game or not, we'd hang out, and it was a place to be. And that sense of community, you don't see it too often anymore in the Little Leagues. And I think it's something that's affecting the game today, specifically on Staten Island.
You have been a coach, a player, and we've touched on that a lot. But you're also an umpire. And that's something that, correct me if I'm wrong, has happened recently. Tell me how you got into umpiring, where you were a player, a coach, and now you add this to your resume. What made you get into umpiring?
Well, listen, I spent the better part of my career as a catcher, right? So every Sunday morning, twice during the week, I was squatting down in front of an umpire. And if you're a good catcher, you make sure you make friends with the umpire, because you know what you can get, you know what you can get, you can't, and it does help you squeeze out a pitch or two here or there when you need one. And I made sure, I kept my reputation good with those guys. I didn't do too much complaining, just enough to make sure they remembered my name. But obviously Frank had been around in the men's league for a long time, and he was doing the high schools, and I was coaching there. So we had that rapport. And he hounded me for a while. It wasn't just hey, why don't you come umpire? I was like, oh yeah, sure. He was like, hey, you want to umpire? I was like, no, get away from me. I don't want to umpire. Why would I want to do that? And then after a couple of years of him asking, and he planted that seed. And then one day I said, well, you know what? Why not? Why shouldn't I umpire? I know the game. I understand it. I miss catching. My body can't hold up anymore, but at least I can umpire. And sure enough, I went out there, and it was like second nature. Had a really good understanding of the rules, and it's something I learned to enjoy. To be a part of the game, it's to be a part of the game on the other side. It's very interesting. It's very interesting to be a part of a game where you don't really have a dog in the fight per se. You get a really good, perspective on the game. You can see it from a different angle, and it's a very interesting thing.
You've been umpiring. I want to ask you this question: favorite game that you've umpired? There's
two.
Okay.
There's two, and they both were extra innings. A lot of umpires say, "Oh my God, extra innings! It was terrible."
I think I know which game you're gonna say.
Well, the one was last fall, right? Yeah. Was just in the fall. Was the
15 innings?
The Heat and the Outsiders was 16 innings or something
Great
like that.
Game.
And it was, just a dogfight, and it was just a great matchup, great pitching. Featured one great ejection. Really, and it wasn't me. I didn't even eject the guy, but
yes.
It was really good, and just a really well, crisp played game all around.
Game.
And then, believe it or not, the other game that I had that was fantastic was also last summer, and it was a 40 and over game at West Shore. It was a team from Jersey. They had an older guy who used to be a minor league pitcher in his 50s. Didn't throw very hard, but was pounding the zone with strikes, and had Kevin Case and I think John DiMartino on the other side from the Staten Island Bombers, and they were just trading zeros back and forth. And I had a nothing game through 11 in like 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Beautiful.
And it was just great. Anytime there's good baseball played, I enjoy it, but those two games really, really stick out to me. over my 5 years of doing this. Those two games really stick out to me.
Yeah, I remember you were doing the plate that game for the Heat Outsiders, right? Yeah, that was beautiful. And then they got the Dean Ferezza from Petrides with the huge hit. That was one of those great game. That was a great game.
It was phenomenal. This was a phenomenal game, and the best part was, of all the guys in that lineup, right? I mean, you got Kansian and Blake and all these guys and these minor leaguers that played for the Outsiders. You had all these guys, and up steps Dean Ferezza with the game winner, and it was like, he was like, I'm gonna get this hit, pinch hit, boom, winner, and it's like, wow, unbelievable, really just unbelievable.
It was amazing, and again, Dean's one of the funniest guys that I've encountered. He coaches Petrides, also coaches football at Petrides. He played at Petrides. One of the good guys. He almost reminds me of like a Nick Swisher, because he's just he comes down. He's having fun every chance he goes. He's tremendous. You've been around. Lastly, we're gonna wrap things up a little bit. But lastly, I had the honor of coaching you on 2 occasions, I believe. One was the Dodgers with Happy, and a championship season right there.
That's right.
And then the other one was that fun year that we had with my brother, with that Blue Jays team where we had Joey Bayonne and we had Balson and a couple of the guys that we had. That was a solid team. I always say if we had one more on that year, we probably would have.
Yeah, we would have.
At least gotten to the championship against Griffs. We ran into that tough Astros team. But what is you played all these years in men's league, whether it was the TM league, whether it's the last couple of years at Mid Island. What has been, if you could pick one distinct memory of playing the game, what would it be?
Jeez, in all my years, one distinct memory of playing the game. Wow, that's a tough one because I got a lot of them. This might sound crazy. The one memory that I really have wasn't a good one. We're playing Berry Homes, 2007. Mm-hmm. It rained the night before. Playing brothers in a doubleheader, and we were very tightly contested with them in that TM league. Mm-hmm. And we were chirping, and you get into the game, and no matter how many friends you want. Follow, can't tell them. All those guys, I played with all those guys for years in the fall, and we knew each other. We were great friends, but you got on the field and you just start chirping. Mm-hmm. So Jack gives me a late stop sign around third, and my ankle blows up, and I'm screaming in agony on the field because in the end I had broken my ankle in 7 places. I remember Louis Cantelmo walking up to me, and I have my eyes closed, my head on the ground. I open up my eyes, and I'm writhing in agony. And Louis Cantelmo goes, "Tommy, I love you, but you're out." Okay, that is the one moment that sticks out to me beyond all others. Look, it's crazy, but that one moment, that's one moment that really sticks out. The other one, which is really kind of a special moment, that's my favorite moment. But that's my favorite moment. The funniest moment that I ever had, because I'll give you 3, right? So number 1 is my favorite moment was Louis Cantelmo tagging me while my ankle's broken on the ground. That's my favorite. The funniest moment was we're warming up in the outfield at Clove Lakes. And we're warming up in the outfield at Clove Lakes, and 2 kids, they were the Jewish kids with the hat. They had the hats on.
Yeah.
And they were running around. They were just playing. We didn't think anything. Like, oh, look, the kids are playing nice. So next thing we know, Matt Martino turns around and he's like, "Where's my glove?" And the kid is running with his glove.
Oh my.
Okay, running with Matt's like, "No, what are you doing? You got my glove." And he runs. The kid throws his glove in the lake.
Oh my God.
Throws his glove in the lake. Matty runs up to him, grabs him, and goes, "What are you doing?" But he was shaking the kid's hat. He was shaking him so hard that the kid's hat was shaking back and
Oh my!
He was like, "What did you do? That's my $300 glove you threw in the lake." Okay, well, that's the funniest moment.
I can see Matt Martino, one of the nicer guys that I've encountered.
Absolutely. And he's also one of the shortest. So there's like this 11-year-old kid, and he's the same size as him, shaking him with his hat flying all over. It was fantastic. Great moment. And then my most sentimental moment was my last year of Babe Ruth, playing at Verrazano. We're up 6-0 in like the bottom of the 6th inning, championship game. And I get up with the bases loaded, and I hit a grand slam to straightaway center field to end my Babe Ruth career. It was a grand slam. Wow. We ended up winning by mercy rule 10-0. Brian Mullins, remind Brian that he was pitching that day. But yeah, that's my most sentimental moment. But
and Verrazano's got that huge outfield.
Yeah.
So that's a shot.
Yeah. Believe it or not, my mother was, she was there. I was very excited. It was my last game in Babe Ruth. She actually went around to get the ball because behind there is, so the ball went over the trees in center, and behind there, she picked up the ball in the sanitation parking lot in there. It was far. It was far.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'd say that's a schlep right there.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
I remember the 2 seasons that we played at. You made, some great plays at first base. I remember a game we were playing the Tides when we were the Blue Jays with my brother, and you made a couple of plays at first base that year and a couple of clutch hits that you've gotten. But I'll never forget when I was coaching the All-Star game at Mid-Island. It was happy myself for coaching the team. It may have been last year's All-Star game. No, we had an All-Star game last year. It was the year before. So 2018 All-Star game. And we're sitting there, and me and Happy are just sitting there, and we go, all right, we did this. Now, All-Star games are 9 innings, and we're getting everybody in and out. And we did a switch. I forget what the switch we did. And we looked at the field, and we said, oh, crap, we don't have anyone in center field. Now, whoever was pitching, and the catcher throws it down, and Happy's looking at me and said, Hap, we have no center fielder. And you're walking around, we have to. So Happy turns around and goes, Tommy, you want to go out there? And you're like, okay, why not? He goes, I played it, I can't remember the last time I went out in the outfield. And you went out in the outfield, you going out there, warming up, and then I remember it was 1 out, 2 out, nothing was hit out there. And then BJ Savage, who won the MVP that year, ropes in the gap, cleared the bases, and we're like, oh, okay, we're gonna test Tommy out now in center field. I remember I caught that the other day. In this quarantine, I've watched so many. How many Yankee Classics can you watch?
Yeah, I know.
So
David Wright's retired 27 times on SNY.
Yeah, you can't. So the best thing was over the years at Mid-Island was that we would record the games and we put them up. So I'm just watching one day, and then that came up, and I was like, "Oh, this is great." So then I remember I said, "I got to bring it up to Tommy." That was a wild All-Star game. That was the one where, Andrew Coletti was actually leaving the Dodgers, going to the Astros that fall, and put the Astros jersey on in his last at bat, and then he hits and he gets a single, and then the fireworks start going off in right field. That was the wildest All-Star game I've been a part of. That was
a lot of fun. I remember that was a lot of fun. That reminded me of some of the years past TM games. It was a lot of fun.
No, it was great. Absolutely, it was great. And again, the look that me and Happy were like, but later on, it was awesome. It was awesome. So
listen, I don't know how much time I got left. So I'll go wherever you ask me to go right now.
Well, I was gonna say you're not retiring yet. you still got some. Listen, you still got some hits in you.
Yeah, that's about it, though. I don't know what else is left in the tank. I mean, listen, I'm blessed to be able to play with my son this year. Not many guys could say they were able to play alongside their kids. I would love to be able to hang around another 15 years until my other guy's there, but I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, with everything going on, that would put me at about 52, and I'm pushing planes.
Julio Franco of the men's league.
Yeah, right. I mean, listen, Joe McEwen did it till he was almost 60, so I guess maybe I got a shot.
Hey, listen, you know what? It's one. The fun thing about the men's league, and again, it's every league out there. Mid Island has this rule. We have the rule this year, is that you can bat however many you want. And again, that's the way it should be. I know some guys, they've said, oh, well, it really should be 9 or whatever. At the end of the day, yeah, we all want to win, and the teams in any league, in every league you go there, you want to win. Obviously, that's the thing. But you also want to have fun. You don't want to go down there and you're not having fun. So, listen, if you have 12, 13 guys there, chances are maybe you'll be batting 11, 12. One guy will go in and out. It's just, and again, it keeps guys again, you said it yourself, you don't know how many years you have left, but if you could sit there, get a couple of at-bats a game, qualify for the playoffs, get your hits in, and you're playing alongside with your son, that's all that matters. And again, I think that's what makes men's league baseball so special, is that, it's not, some people take it, seriously. You see some of these players out there and some of these coaches that it's like, dude, jump back. And you, listen, I've seen you, you've seen me. The two of us can get competitive with the best of them.
Of course.
I've umpired games where you're like, Chris, I'm giving you one last shot, and then you're happy. So, obviously we've seen each other. But at the end of the day, there's nothing like, that 2.5 hours is supposed to be a release from the real world. And the real world, we know, sometimes is a little crazy. So, the fact that you're still out there and able to play with your son, and you being given that opportunity by a team, by a league, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So, but Tommy, I want to thank you for hopping on here. I'm sure I will see you this year umpiring, and I'll see you on the field. And again, thank you. Where can people go to get the best stuff for DRG? Tommy, where do they got to go?
All right, guys. So you can check out our website, which is www.drggloves.com. Right now, our glove builder is being rebuilt for a better version that you guys will have a much smoother and clean experience with. We hope to have that back up in the next 2 weeks. In the meantime, you want a custom glove, give me a call. There are some stock gloves that are there. There's also the ability for you to go through and get your glove repaired and get it over to me. You can do all that through the website, or don't hesitate to call. You can call the main number, which goes to me at any time, is 917-900-3878. You can call or text that number. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And Chris, I want to thank you for having me, and I very much appreciate it.
No problem, T. We'll have you on. Anything that happens throughout the course of the year, feel free to stop by anytime you want. And again, by the way, FYI, those red, white, and blue gloves that you put out, absolutely amazing. We're going to be sharing that on our page for this. They're just incredible. You have 2 left?
I got 2 left. I sold 4 of them. I got 2 left of the limited edition. If they go soon enough and there's a demand, we may get more, but right now we're sticking with just the 6. So
there is
2 left right now.
There is no better way. I know it's a little tough with tournaments this year, but it's not like, a patriotic July 4th weekend of tournament baseball and you're wearing patriotic red, white, and blue gloves. So great job by you, Tommy. Tommy, thank you so much. Thank you for listening and watching to the Staten Island United Federation podcast. Again, we will have this podcast open to anybody, any coach, any team, any player of any league, anywhere, New York, New Jersey, you name it. We are here to talk baseball. And even though it's SIUF, Staten Island United is the way to go. We are all united in this. So we welcome anybody on, and you'll be seeing some familiar faces in the near future. Thank you.